Hey there, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation on responses to trauma and systemic treatment of trauma. I am your host, Cecilia Dunn. So here's the objective for today. We're going to go over the introduction. What is the importance of understanding trauma's impact on attachment? We're also going to go over the effects of trauma on working with clients. Um, how can family members and other systemically connected individuals assist in the process and the outcome of treatment for trauma and PTSD? We're going to look at what system-based interventions can be offered by an MFT to assist the survivors in the healing and recovery from PTSD. Now, in today's presentation, we'll explore the profound connection between disrupted attachment and the psychological impact of trauma. We will examine how trauma interferes with the development of secure bonds and how these disruptions manifest across the lifespan. Drawing on the work of Malencroft in 2010, we will consider how trauma-informed therapies can support clients in repairing the attachment wounds through attunement, consistency, and relational safety. But we'll also reflect on the emotional toll that the therapeutic work can have on clinicians themselves, especially with the effect of burnout. In addition, we will review the evidence-based strategies and therapeutic modalities that help families heal from abandonment wounds and relational ruptures. These approaches emphasize the importance of restoring trust, emotional regulation, and connection within the caregiving relationships. So, why is a secure attachment worth striving for? Well, a secure attachment provides an individual with a sense of safety and stability. Rooted in consistent responsiveness and emotional attunement, it fosters the ability to regulate emotions, especially during conflict, and helps maintain healthy relationships and access supportive social networks. In many ways, secure attachments function like a beacon in a storm, offering confidence, resilience, and grounding in the face of challenges. So, individuals develop adaptive strategies to navigate their world, and it is imperative to understand that their lived experiences through the lens of the ecological framework. By assessing a client's ecological system, therapists can understand how developmentally, genetically, and behavioral factors, and even their societal systems are sort of interwoven, and how these factors affect them. Trauma creates basically an insecure base for the client who will likely display high levels of stress, and it's mediated by the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal. And this dysregulation causes the client to feel stressful events as if their life is being threatened. And it can manifest in anxious, preoccupied, or even avoidant attachment styles, as well as disorganized behavior. An insecure attachment often leads to struggles with their emotional dysregulation and difficulties in developing lasting relationships. The therapist can help the family to understand how these factors are affecting their lives on different levels, such as the exit system, where the parents may have experienced the traumas, um, and they could be contributing to these feelings. So, treatment plan and intervention are designed to target individual trauma focused therapy, sensitization, also process those microsystem. Only therapy is used to address relational patterns and create and help them to feel like they're safer. Within the microsystem, one might find emotional, This usually manifests as emotional withdrawal, pervasive kind of people. Traumas impact attachment because individuals to lack healthy boundaries and fear losing someone, basically. Individuals affected by trauma display hypervigilance, anxiety, which has been linked to somatic symptoms, like symptoms in the body, chronic pain, headache, which can be passed on in a generation. Traumatic events can stem from direct experiences or perceived threat to danger, they cause helplessness, terror, relational and interpersonal issues. Trauma expresses itself differently for every person. Some people feel abandoned, some isolate, some feel helpless and burdened with shame and a sense of being invisible, as if their lives are continually disintegrating. So, how can understanding the effects of trauma assist a therapist in their work with clients? A therapist who works with clients who has gone through traumatic events ensures them that they have received training to help both the client, but also they're aware of their own levels of stress and its effects. In the same way, the therapist is aware that they can experience burnout. Each client can present insecure attachment and symptoms of PTSD in different ways. Therapists notice that these adaptive reactions clients display are responses to threats, and these responses might seem abnormal. They often present inconsistency, coming and going symptoms rather than appearing as an ongoing symptom. Therapists understand that a client's body is often in what is called a fight or flight mode, where physical and physiological responses are held in the body, and these can include slipping into a state of forgetfulness or resorting to existing coping mechanisms. Studies have shown that structures of the brain that are affected can cause a delay in cognition. These adaptive responses function as a way to help the client survive the trauma that they have endured, the discomfort, how to maintain functionality. Many times these responses persist even after the danger has ended. Reactions can vary significantly for one client to another. Like I said, one example could be the physiological hypervigilance, which can appear even long after the traumatizing event has ended, while another person may dissociate and even detach or numb themselves as a way to escape pain and discomfort. So when assessing clients, the therapist is able to distinguish between uh, psychiatric symptoms and these adaptive reactions. I do want to say that if a person continues to have these responses, it can turn into a maladaptive traits and psychiatric symptoms over time. Um, so, what begins as an emergency adaptation, fight or flight, hypervigilant state can later appear as disordered behavior when the person feels safe. Still, they feel as if they are under threat, afraid. Therapists use to address these concerns by providing trauma informed care, trauma focused therapies, as these interventions are used to help individuals with memory, such as when they have been impacted by trauma, and understanding the effects of PTSD, processing those traumatic experiences. For family members and others who are systemically connected to an individual struggling with attachment trauma, it really is a multifaceted approach. and supportive approach. This begins with understanding the unique family system, learning what they value, such as their cultural beliefs and influences, and how they navigate through conflict. To empower their loved ones, families must actively try to create an environment that conveys consistent support, safety, caring, attunement, which serves as a corrective emotional experience. This involves seeking out resources such as group therapy, family therapy, or supportive groups, and committing to psychoeducation to understand all the effects and the impacts of trauma, and also the principles of secure attachment and how they could be impacting their loved ones. By staying informed with up-to-date studies, families can move from a place of frustration and confusion, hopelessness, to one of true empathy, where they can act as effective advocates. Ultimately, the secure family connection itself is a powerful intervention strategy, and studies show that it provides a foundation to help the individual who's struggling to find healthier coping strategies so that they reduce their urge to engage in risk-taking behaviors such as engaging in addictions. So for families seeking to support a loved one in therapy, it's imperative to understand their condition and diverse approaches to treating attachment trauma. Effective treatment requires a model that examines family dynamics and identifies strengths and fosters resilience. Several models designed for this purpose include the Link framework, ARISE, and the community resilience approaches, which I will discuss today. The Link model, linking human systems, facilitates healing by involving the client's entire community in therapy. This includes not only family members, but friends, and also key community figures and elders. The primary goal is to reconnect the client with their broader support system by utilizing the family's traditions, customs, and cultural strengths. Therapy, they can help the client to feel grounded and safe again, effectively restoring a sense of belonging that they may have lost during this traumatic event. The second therapy is transitional family therapy, and this approach assists families of navigating significant life disruptions such as moving to a different location, migration, the loss of a loved one, and acculturative stress. It is particularly valuable for clients struggling with identity and adjustment to a new environment. The way that the therapist does this sort of therapy is by guiding the family, by honoring their past stories and cultural identities, while helping them to co-create a new narrative of strength and positive adaptation. And this process helps the family to integrate their cultural beliefs and their heritage, but also to get used to the new way of things in their new environment. So let's look at ARISE. So ARISE is a relational intervention sequence for engagement. That's what it stands for. It's a trauma-informed invitational model that mobilizes a client's natural supportive system to address the aftermath of a traumatic event and heal attachment wounds. This method focuses on improving emotional dysregulation. It helps to clarify what healthy boundaries are and foster supportive, non-judgmental connections to repair relational systems. I want to go over the critical role of psychoeducation. Psychoeducation is so fundamental. It's a fundamental component and empowers family with the knowledge and of resources that are available. The purpose of giving families material is to help them to understand what insecure attachments are, the complexity of the trauma that their loved one may have endured. It provides them tools and information on building emotional safety, how to repair relationships, discusses relational issues, and it's designed to be inclusive, targeting individuals, couples, and people of all ages and different backgrounds. As we've discussed today, attachment develops gradually throughout childhood, forming our foundation for relationships. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, however, is fundamentally different um, than it would be from attachment wounds. It is not developed from an early relational patterns, but rather emerges after a specific terrifying event has threatened the person's core sense of safety and psychological well-being. When examining systemic interventions, the therapist can use to address PTSD in individuals several evidence-based modalities, which are prominent. A therapist may employ methods such as cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, and these two approaches are designed to help clients process traumatic memories, to challenge the maladaptive thought patterns, and to modify the behaviors linked to these traumas. Other effective therapeutic modalities include emotionally focused therapies, which is used to reshape the individual's emotional response and to create a healthier interactional pattern. Additionally, attachment-based interventions themselves are crucial for helping clients to address underlying wounds that stem from insecure attachments. And this process facilitates healing and empowers individuals to develop the capacity for more secure and fulfilling relationships. By integrating attachment theories that address trauma, therapists can create a secure relational space where clients can begin to rewire these maladaptive patterns and to begin to build resilience. And this requires not only clinical knowledge, but an emotional attunement, cultural humility, and a commitment to relational safety for the client. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation on responses to trauma and systemic treatment of trauma. I am your presenter, Cecilia Den. Here are a list of some of my references used. Thank you for watching.